pretty people, Lizzy Sparkle here, and I just filmed a very stupidly long Sephora haul. So I thought I'd come back on here and do maybe like a little chitty chat video. I don't know. I just feel like let's kiki. Is that what the kids are saying these days? Let's just have a little chitty chat moment, and I'm just gonna go on my little tangent in every which way and talk about some stuff. So just to jump in, I am in I still cannot talk. I am in like a not really strange situation, but that's like blaring in my mind, strange situation, even though it's not really strange. But I feel like lately at my work that I've been working a lot, and like I'll be scheduled to where I'm working like maybe 3 or 4 days a week. Like that's what my schedule says, and they say like the Thursday prior to the new work week, your schedule is supposed to be finalized and it won't be changed after that. And then lo and behold, they go and just add little days whenever they feel like. So it's like now, it's like I've been working, well, last week I only worked 4 days, but this week they snuck one in there. Like I think last week I was only scheduled for 3 days, and then they like asked me if I could come in and work the 4th day or something anyway. And then this week I was working 4 days, and so just like I was working Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and on Tuesday they decided just to put me down for Thursday. And so like I was working like I think scheduled for 34 hours up until Thursday. So they put me down 6 to 11 in the morning so that it would give me 5 hours, and because I had a little extra time. So that way, that would put me with my little extra time that I'd worked prior days, that would put me right at 40 hours. So that way, it's like they get it so that I'm working 40 hours, but they don't want me to go over because they don't want like give anybody overtime. Yet they expect me, by the way, I am a part-time employee with no benefits. So anyway, they expect me to work the maximum amount I can without, giving me overtime, which is like time and a half. If you're gonna work me that much, let me work a little bit extra so I can get a little benefit. And it's not really that big of a benefit. I'm already underpaid as is. Like I was working and making less than what most people who were coming in to work for the first time. Like I was training people who were making more than I was, even though I've been with the company for 2 years and I've had like a big I've had a lot of experience in my field, and then my field is retail. And then people who were coming in who haven't really worked retail jobs before were getting paid more than I was. But then finally they decided to like bump me up, and then they gave everybody a raise. So now I am making what everybody is making, despite my background. So I'm still like, I was happy that I got a nice bump up. I did not even mean to go down this path of this much. Anywho, so then they had this nice little meeting just the other day, and because they had this meeting, it did put me into a little bit of overtime. Whatever. That's on them. They can't come back at me for that. And yeah, because they had me, not only do I do my job, I do a completely different position too. So I work in one area of the store I do a heck of a lot in my field of work, and then they throw me into another field of work. So I get paid what everybody else does, even though, okay, I'm not gonna. So anyway, this meeting that they had, okay, really choked up now. So they tell us that, like, somebody had told me, like, the day before this meeting, which was the day after they just magically decided to throw a day on my schedule, that they said that recently they now have the right to do that, and that it's our responsibility to be checking our schedules at home or from home on the daily basis. Because this other person, they did that to her, and they did it to her on a weekend day, which her line of work, they don't do like weekends, except unless they absolutely need them to, in which they make it like they tell people and ask if people come in, which that's what they should be doing anyway, like, you know, giving a heads up, like, hey, we need you, we're putting you on the schedule for this time, or hey, can you come and work in at this time? What, anyway, so she ended up getting double points because it was a weekend day against her, which, try that with me, honey, and see what happens. Bye, Felicia. Anywho, so she said that they now state that they can do that. But this meeting that they had, they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to be working like maximum hours, 5 days a week until Easter, just to catch up. And they're like, they may not say that on your schedule may not reflect it, but expect to do that because that's what's going to happen. Like, really? Like, I'm so ready to be like, deuces, bye. But I've been saying that for 2 years pretty much, so. Anywho, Lizzy Spark looking real right now. So, like, every time I like get ready to do something like video wise, like I have days off and I'm like, okay, now I can do this, I can make this video, and then it's like, no, you gotta work. Okay, so anywho, yeah, so there probably won't be that many videos between now and Easter. Lucky you. Okay, so that brings us to this whole, like, I've been listening to Mike Dooley a lot lately. If you're not familiar with who he is, if you've heard of The Secret, I feel like I'm being so vague because in my Sephora video I talk about The Ordinary, which is a brand of skincare and makeup. Now, if you do not know what I'm talking about when I say The Secret, it is like a book and movie which talks about the law of attraction, which you probably have heard about that by now. Which is the whole idea that thoughts become things. Like, you can attract things into your life by putting like thought into it, like focusing on that thing taking place and positive intention and all that good stuff and gratitude. And so okay, so it kind of, this could be a touchy subject. Okay, I will say I am a Christian first and foremost, but I do believe that this can coincide with the whole Christianity thing or whatever your belief is. So, which we're not going to go down that rabbit hole of beliefs and religion and all that. But anyhow, so I have experienced this law of attraction thing over the years so many times, but I never really knew what it was until Oprah, which I feel like she's the reason why this secret thing took, okay, come on, even they admit that, like, it's because of Oprah why it took off and why people know of it now and the enlightenment of it. Okay, so over the years back then I like really jumped into it because I'm like, oh my gosh, because that was during this tough time, which I won't go down the rabbit hole, but it involved my mom when it's amazing, like, the day that Oprah episode aired coincided with one of the significant days with her diagnosis. Anywho, we're not gonna get into that. This is becoming a very emotional video. Okay, so anyhow, so Mike Dooley, one of the people involved with The Secret, subscribe to his Tut emails, tut.com. He does these daily emails from the universe. He is the voice of the universe in these emails. He does seminars and things, and so I've come across this material time and time again. I'm kind of like itchy right now. I feel like I got like a hair or something tickling and itching. Okay, anyhow, so he had a free seminar course thing lately, which it's not, he had it up for a few days and now it's not there, but it just kind of reignited something in me. And like there's this whole, like, The Secret kind of follows this format, like thoughts become things, everything you think of the details, blah blah blah, but he kind of has a different spin on it. He's like, okay, so don't think about something specific. Like in The Secret, they're like, think about like a specific car you want and imagine yourself driving that car and go like test drive it from the dealership. And so his little spin is that don't think about specifics, think about the grander scheme. Like, what's the ultimate thing you want? So ultimately everybody wants happiness, so he's like, focus on the happiness, imagine yourself happy. If you're not happy, you just like visualize yourself like dancing, woo, woo, happiness, yay, and people congratulating you and all that jazz. So, and then like everything else will fall into place. So if you can imagine yourself happy, what does that like involve to get there? And so that will all fall into place. And then you can kind of like, once you get this mindset that happiness is ultimately what you want to focus on getting, then like say, instead of focusing on like a specific car, just kind of like think of like a new car and like kind of a car you want to have, but don't get your mind like dead set on, I'm going to have that car. So here's an example. So actually, okay, I was going to go into details, but I'm not going to go into like super details. Oh my gosh, this video is starting to get long too. So I had this specific car in mind. It was not the one that I absolutely wanted, but like not like my ultimate dream car, but it was, I love Cadillacs, okay? So this particular Cadillac was one that I really wanted to have, but I wanted it more as like a backup car to my dream car. But it was kind of like more the realistic one. Like there's two other, well there's another, anyway, I want every Cadillac anyway, but so this car in particular is like kind of like my everyday car. That one, it was going to be like my main like daily driver car, just a more practical car compared to the other car I wanted, which the other car I wanted was the XLR, which they stopped making. But this car at the time was like the magical, like my dream car. Now like every car is like up to that technology, minus being like a convertible. But anyway, so I wanted a CGS. So I had written down, which I had written this down like over the years, but then like this one point, 2017, I wrote down something, and maybe I'll make a video about this. But anyway, basically I was talking about I want to have the money for this car and be able to buy one in perfect condition use. So a couple months later, lo and behold, I wind up with this car. However, instead I wind up with a loan for that amount, which I really wasn't like thinking of a specific, like I didn't like research and be like, okay, this is the model, this is the year I want, and this is how much this car is going to cost used. I just kind of like, oh well, I think this seems like it'd be a good number for, or a good amount for that car used. That's like a still pretty, anyway. So I wind up with this amount in the form of a loan, which anybody who knows me knows that I'm like so anti like having to borrow money. Like if I buy anything, it better be paid in full. So this like killed my soul that I had to take out a loan for this car. But I absolutely needed a car. If I'm going to be buying a car, and then I better be getting a Cadillac, because I mean if I'm going to have to pay extra money for something, like, or take out a loan for something, I might as well get something I want. So I wound up with this car, and then I found the thing that I wrote later. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to be more specific about it. But then Mike Dooley was talking about how, like, if you say you want a particular car and everything, well, you might get the car, but you might get a car note along with the car, which that's what happened to me. I got a car note along with the car instead of being able to pay for it in full. So anyway, so I'm just kind of getting ready, kind of like the last week or so, kind of been putting myself in that new frame of mind about the whole, like, let's focus on happiness. And here I am ranting away on a lot of things already. But it's like, maybe I'll do some more videos on this whole thing to put me in the mindset. Maybe it'll help somebody else in that mindset. So I don't know. We'll see how this works out. Again, the whole work situation, which that's another thing I was talking about. Think about your work as if you're happy, and that you focus, like, you want to focus on having creative, fulfilling work. Like, if that's what you want, that's what you want to focus on, is having creative and fulfilling work, or having a creative, fulfilling job. So I'm going to try to focus on having that creative, fulfilling job, because my interests are so broad. Like, I want to do makeup stuff, even though I'm not really good at makeup, but I love makeup. And then I want to make jewelry, and I want to do my t-shirt stuff, and then I want to do junk journal stuff. So there's all many little things I want to do, and all that jazz and whatnot. And then the whole little YouTube thing, I don't know. So I'm putting that out there now, just kind of as a broad spectrum of things I want to do, my interests. Going forward, we'll see where this journey takes us. So I think I'm just going to wrap this video right here, my little chitty chat rambling and stuff, and my battery's about to die anyway, so be sure to subscribe, let me know down below what you think, and all that jazz, and okay, thanks, bye!